my mother's oldest brother, of course, when my grandfather died, the youngest child was 6 months old, and the oldest boy was 18, and he had to take care of the family. He had to support all those brothers.
Yeah.
And it used to take a barrel of flour a month that my grandmother used to use to make Crook,
Yeah.
to keep those children going. Of course, they didn't pay for flour like they pay for it today.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But it took a whole barrel. And they moved to, after my grandfather died, they moved to Holden.
And what was the name of the boy that had to take over?
It was Uncle Gus.
Okay.
Uncle Gus was the oldest, and then Uncle Will. And then I don't know how they came down, but there was Uncle Gus and Uncle Will, Uncle Arthur, there was Martin and George and Albert and John and Charlie. And Charlie was the youngest, and Charlie was the one that went down to Waukeag, down to Hancock. They called it Waukeag Station. He was the station agent there all of his life down there, and they had a nice home that looked out over the ocean.
Yeah.
And of course now, about where that station was, is where the bridge is that goes across to Sullivan.
Oh, baby sakes.
And the boys used to go down there summers oftentimes and visit for a while.
Oh, when you say the boys, you mean
No, Fred and Albert.
Okay.
Fred and Albert. And they used to go down and dig clams, you know. And once in a while, we would go down on a Sunday when we'd find out what the tide was right and dig some clams and have a clam bake right on the shore down there. Uncle Gus was always a farmer. He always farmed, and he had sheep and cows and hens and things. And I remember when I was a kid one time, we were out there visiting, and they had a rooster that was a son of a gun, and he flew at me and scared the pants right off of me. I went screaming into the house. And of course my grandmother lived with Uncle Gus and Aunt Nell. Aunt Nell was Uncle Gus's wife. And they had one son, Everett, and he was a spoiled brat. He thought he was pretty nice.